All right, I'm going to do the drum roll. So now we are at the part where Nancy is going to give her what was the number that you ended up with? Was it 10?
10.
Our top 10, are they in order?
They're in order of date. So the
Okay.
soonest one is
Yep.
first and the
Okay.
latest one is last.
All right. So number
If
one
I
isn't
put
the
them
one.
in order, I hope I got it
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Number one isn't necessarily the one you're saying this is the one you absolutely have to go to. You're saying
Nope.
this is the first one on the calendar. And so we're here we are. It's our
As a matter
top
of fact,
10.
Gary, I'm going
Yep.
to
Oh, I'll stop the
before
drum
you do
roll.
the drum roll, before you
Hold
do the
on.
drum roll, I
All
just
right.
want to roll it back a second to say I couldn't pick which one is the best. And the
Yep.
reason is everything that we've just talked about. You
Yep.
need to pick your goals. You need to decide what your priorities are. You know your strengths, you know your weaknesses, you know a style in which you are most comfortable taking in new information. You know all of these things in a way that I couldn't possibly. So do your homework first,
Yep.
then you can drum roll and I'll give you
All
my
right.
list.
Here we
All right,
go. And
ready?
that's my best drum roll.
All right, I couldn't hear it at all, but I'll,
Oh,
I'll
yeah.
trust you. It was there,
Here,
right?
there we
All
go. That's the best I've got. All right.
right, number one in order of the dates
Dates.
coming up for this year.
Yes.
Scaling New Heights, June 22nd through 25th in Orlando, Florida. By the way, I'm going to be writing an accompanying article for MSN on this topic where I will feature this wonderful uh, little interview that we've got going on right here, and I will
Yep.
put
Okay.
links to each of these conferences in that article. So,
Great.
Scaling New Heights, June 22nd to the 25th. This is one of my absolute favorite conferences, and it has been for years. As I mentioned, my first write up on it was for the 2016, which I think might have been the first year that I attended. I think I had been going to Sleater before that. Um, and which it became Accountex and
Right.
doesn't make my list
Died.
anymore.
Yep.
Yeah. Um, so Scaling New Heights is amazing, and I would put this in the accounting technology. When I think about
Yep.
the types of conferences, I would put it in accounting technology, but it is so much more than that. I know you are a huge fan of this conference as well. Would you like to take a moment to talk about what your favorite things about this conference are?
Yeah. And I have a little different perspective on it too. I've gone to, I don't know if you know my whole history, Woodard and scaling and all that, but so,
I
and
do,
even
but I
prior
don't
to
know
that.
if your audience does.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So the 1 minute on that. So I was the associate publisher for Accounting Today and did that for about 6 years. And while there, Seth Feinberg, who you may or may not know, he was
I know him
technology
well. He's a
editor.
good
Yeah,
friend.
yeah.
Yeah.
So he was like, hey, you know what? So, Joe's in Atlanta. You ought to get to know Joe. And so I went to, I think it was his third event. It was in Stone Mountain and which is like 30-minute drive. So I went to that, walked around. I was like, wow. And the biggest thing that I noticed at that event, and again, I was going to all the events, and biggest thing that I noticed was the engagement of the attendees with each other, but also on the exhibit hall floor. At that point, it was a really small floor, but the attendees were going, they were talking, and I'm again, my background is the sales and sponsorship, development, and so I'm looking at it from that perspective of, wow, great, you have an exhibit hall, but if nobody goes in it, who cares? From a
Yes. Yes.
sponsor perspective, right? And so I've been to every show since that one, and I've recommended this show for years. And then in 2013, Joe Woodard and I, who started scaling, started Insightful Accountant, and then we parted ways in 2018. We still have a great relationship. We're doing a podcast in, I think, 2 weeks. We're scheduled to go to breakfast, I think, breakfast or lunch, like the week after that. So, and we present our
And
awards program.
yeah,
Yeah, we
Insightful
present our
Accountant
award
presents the
programs.
top
Exactly. Top Pro
100 and
Advisor.
top
Yep.
10 Pro Advisor awards
At
at
Scaling New
Scaling New
Heights.
Heights.
Yeah. And so yeah, I mean, for me, it's it's a top event, if not, well,
Now, this is
I would
a
say the number one
large
event for me.
conference.
Yep.
So for people who are trying to evaluate how, the different things that we've talked about in terms of goals and how to
Yep.
reach those and personality type. It's a large conference. It's about 1,500, 1,700, eighteen
Yeah,
hundred
I think
people,
so. Somewhere in there.
something
Yep.
like that. And one of the things that's wonderful about that is that there's something for everyone, right? You've got
Yep.
big main stage keynotes, you've got breakout sessions, you've got panels, you've got a big expo hall, you have events.
Hmm.
And so there really is something for everyone, but it can be a little overwhelming for people who don't do well with really huge crowds. I am going to be speaking there. I actually have 2 sessions this year. I'm co-presenting with Diamond on 1099 workflows, and I am teaching the Tax Ready Bookkeeper Part 2, an annual review guide for bookkeepers.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if you are a first timer at that event, they do a pretty good job or a very good job of helping the first timers really get tied into the event
Yes.
by kind of
I
partnering you up with
attended
a group of people,
the
right?
Yes, and I attended the first timers breakfast the first time that I went, and it was very
Yep.
helpful because they actually had a person assigned to each table, and they kind of became they were like a mentor. They're people who had been there, not necessarily
Yep.
affiliated with Woodard or affiliated with Scaling New Heights, but people like me who
Yep.
volunteer to do it. I think Kelly Gonsalves is a volunteer for that because Scaling New Heights has made such a big difference in her practice.
Yep.
And it's basically just somebody, whose hand you can hold. But I don't want people to feel like that's the only way that they can get some, I don't know if hand holding's the right, some
Yeah.
support, some love, some community. Your communities that you have joined, whether it's Ask a CPA or Bookkeeping Buds, or there are so many wonderful ones out there. Um, there will be people there that are at the conference who are also in the community, and you all get
Yep.
together and you will have a breakfast or you will have a lunch, and you will have your Slack channel that is specific to that conference saying, I'm going to this session, who's going to that session? And that kind of thing can make a world of difference at a conference, at a big conference like Scaling New Heights.